Hello everyone, I'm Kat from the Littlestown Library of the Adams County Library System, and welcome to today's Tiny Art for Adults and Teens. Today we are painting a heartfelt holiday since Valentine's Day is coming up. So that's what we'll be painting today. If you signed up for an art kit, then you will receive the following items. One 4x4 blank canvas, a tiny easel, one paintbrush, and paint pots with the following colors: red, pink, white, and black. So that's what you'll receive if you signed up for an art kit. If you have your own supplies at home, then you can feel free to use those instead. I also recommend that you have a container or a cup of some kind to put clean water in, so that way you can rinse out your brush. You'll also want to put down a paper towel in order to make sure you don't get paint everywhere, and then another paper towel that you can use to clean your brush as well. I also recommend, if you have a plastic lid or a paper plate or something like that that you can use as a paint palette if you need to mix any colors, then that is very helpful as well. So without further ado, let's get painting. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to get our background painted. So go ahead and get some red paint, and we are going to paint red all across the background here, and kind of make sort of an arching motion, because since this is a scene of either the sun going down or the moon coming up, you can kind of consider it either way. So you want to have kind of a curvature to the colors, so that way you can kind of see like the light radiating as the light source radiates through the clouds. So just go ahead and just do a gentle kind of curve there. Make sure to get the edges of your canvas, so that way it goes off the edge there, and just nice smooth strokes covering up all of all the white there. Okay, so then we're going to put some more right here, and then right along in that area we're going to add some pink. So go ahead and clean off your brush real quick, and we'll get some pink, and we're going to mix some of the pink in with the red there, so they kind of merge a little bit. It might be a little bit hard to tell on the screen here. Let me see if I can adjust the light a little bit. Yeah, sorry, the lighting is not always the greatest here, but there is kind of a gradation here. And so we'll go ahead and do the pink, mixing that with the red, and you can kind of take it up to blend it in. And take a little more pink, and just kind of keep with that kind of arching curve in mind there. So we'll just keep doing that. Add some more pink. Now just kind of do some straight pink. Just kind of getting that right along there. So you have that gradient going from the straight red into the pink there. And some more pink. And a little more pink. There we go. Kind of try to keep it sort of like that. And we'll add the sun and everything a little bit. We'll be getting into that, but first we want to just kind of do that and just keep blending so that we have this nice arch to everything. There we go. Alrighty. And again, we're kind of leaving this here. Now we might need to adjust this a little bit and kind of have it go up this way a little bit more. It's a little bit, mine's a little bit too low for what I actually want. So, so if you can, you can also, if you want, you can also draw, if you have something circular that you could trace, so you can always do something like that ahead of time, but I'm a little bit too low, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep adding pink and just get progressively lighter, and then whatever gets covered up by the bottom, and that's just how it's going to be. So, but that way you have you still have the full gradient going in there. So, yeah, and we'll just have to make sure that this dries completely before we put in the sun. I'm going to put a little bit of white in here just to lighten it up even further. There, so there we go. So you should have, again, sorry about the light. It's not always, sorry about that. I'm trying to get it to look right, and I'm hoping that you can kind of see that it's going from like the darker red, you know, the pure red down into sort of a mix into the pink and then into the really light pink. So, yeah, so that's going to be that, and then what you'll want to do is you'll want to let that dry completely, and then we'll go ahead and add the actual like sun-ish shape in there. We'll add that in there. Again, I might need to move that over a little bit or make it up a little bit, and we might even need to adjust the background a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. So first, go ahead and let that dry, and then we will get back into it. Okay, so now that that has dried, we are going to take our white and we're going to make a slightly, you could make it in the center, but or you can do it slightly off center. I'll just go ahead and I'll try to keep it centered since it's kind of how I've done it, and just kind of make a actually need to be a bit bigger than that. Yeah, we'll probably have to adjust the background a little bit, but that's okay. Because the thing is, you want this to be above where the land is going to be. So, but you want it to kind of show up behind the land. So yeah, so this needs to be up higher, and we might have to do a couple layers on this. So yeah, this part is a lot easier if you have left if you better decided where the white spot was going to be, which I did not do. I miscalculated how much room I was going to need, and so now I'm paying the price. But that's okay, because that just means more time painting, and I am totally okay with that. Because the nice thing about painting, especially when you're painting like this, is then if I mess up, then it's an opportunity for me to, one, learn, and two, find a way to, creative way to fix it. because paint is pretty forgiving, at least when you're working with the acrylics. If you're working with oil paints or watercolor, that can be a different story. I am not fond of either of those because they are not as forgiving. They are for a much higher caliber painter than I am. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And again, you only have to really make it like a half, a half circle. You don't actually have to make the whole circle, but it's just to get it in there. So that way you have, the circle space there. So, and I'll try to keep the edges crisp if you can. We'll probably sharpen that up in the next step. Because we're going to have to do another layer, because as you can probably tell, there's, well, maybe you can't tell, but I can see on mine in person that I can see the pink showing through, so it's sort of an off-white as opposed to a full white, and we want it to be a full white here. So, and again, like a lot of this bottom part here is going to be the bottom, the land there. So, but I want to make sure I leave enough room for that. So I might actually go up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to adjust my light there. Okay. Because the thing is making sure that you have it large enough and enough room that you have the little swing with the people there. So that's why it's like, oh wait, I didn't leave enough room for that scene to take place, at least not without it being ridiculously tiny. And this is already small enough as it is. It's already going to be a little bit challenging there. So. Okay, so let me go ahead. Yeah, let's see, is that? Yeah, I think that will. Yeah, I think that will do it. Mine's slightly off center, so that way I've got room for like the tree and everything. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to, at least on mine, if you followed my instructions exactly, you probably have to do this too, because I didn't take into account how much I actually should have left white. So so we're gonna have to adjust the background just a little bit to make it work better with the shape and the positioning of our sun / moon, whatever's coming up or going down. So, and my circle's not perfect, but you know what, that's okay. Haze in the atmosphere and all that fun jazz. So, okay, so now I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm gonna get some pink, and I'm gonna go like this and arch over it, so that way we've got the lighter pink here. And at this point it's okay if the white and the pink mix a little bit. Just try to keep it at least a little bit distinct, so that way you can go back and make sure that you're when we go over the white again, that it's nice and crisp. But for this moment, it's okay if they mix a little bit, because we are adjusting the background. And I'm not worried too much about down here, because this is going to be covered up by the bottom. So I'm just, all right, putting some pink. And then I'm going to get some red. And that way we can fully adjust that. And again, don't forget your sides. If you're doing, if you have a side to your in there. Okay, so now I'm gonna clean my brush real quick and grab some red, just a little bit, and then blend the red and the pink together again to give that blending impression. So yeah, there we go. That's looking, yeah, that's looking much better. And whoop, do that. Okay. Whoop. Pink right along here. Okay. Clean the brush. Get some more red and pink and red. And actually it's okay to kind of go over it again, because that means that we won't see all these like all the same like brush strokes and everything that we were getting before. So let's go ahead and blend that. And actually, if we want to darken up the corners a little bit more, you can take red and a little bit of black and mix the two together. Again, just a teeny tiny bit of black. You want mostly red, just to darken it up a little bit. And then you can do, you can kind of darken up the corners here. So that way it looks even more like a sunset or a moonrise or whatever. Darken it up just a tiny bit more. There we go. Okay. I know it might look a little bit odd, but it actually will give it even more of a fading up kind of look. And then we can use a little more red to blend. Again, it's just a subtle thing. It doesn't have to be really strong or really powerful. It just needs to be just enough to suggest what we're doing here. So, because that's the beauty of doing, you know, landscapes and things like that, is that you can make them, you know, blurry and indistinct, and it's totally okay. Like, that's kind of the point. Whoops, got a little bit too much dark in that section. Whoops. That's what happens when you don't clean your brush right. Okay. So blend, lots of blending. Okay, cool. Alrighty, that is actually looking really nice. I like that a lot. I'm gonna get some more regular red and just blend a little more up here. Oops, didn't get enough of the dark there. And as I said before, you know, if you get something that you don't really like the look of, then you can always like wait for it to dry and then paint over it. That is, you're not bound to do things exactly as I'm doing them. That is, you know, completely up to you, and you can do whatever you think looks good. I'm just showing you kind of one of the ways, or one of the combinations that you can use in order to get your painting going there. So up a little bit. Like, I'm pretty happy with this side. This side's a little bit too stark though, so I'm just trying to. Okay, all right. I think that looks much better, and we have a lot more room with our sun there. So we're gonna let that dry completely, and then we will paint over the white again, and then we'll go on to the next bit. Okay, so now we can go ahead and repaint over our sun/moon, whatever this is, our celestial body. So go ahead, make sure your brush is clean, and then get some white. And we're gonna go ahead and paint over that so that way it's a nice stark white and not like a pale pink, pinkish white, because we want it to be completely white here. So just go ahead and make sure you've got all of that. And canvas is getting away from me. Okay, and then just make sure that on this go round you try to keep the edge nice and crisp. Again, if you want to use something to like trace around it, you can do that. Just make sure that before you do any tracing that the paint's completely dry, because otherwise you'll just drag paint and pencil and all sorts of horrible stuff. So, and we're gonna go ahead and that there. Okay, so there we go. Okay, edge is much crisper. There we go. Alrighty, and again, if you're going off the side, make sure that you continue the design on the side as well. I know you guys don't have nearly as much side to worry about as I do, because my canvases are kind of large. So there we go. Alright, so that's one we will definitely have to let dry. If we need to, we might need to do a third coat. I know it looks pretty good through the camera there. I'm still seeing a little bit of pink shining through, but I might not worry about that. So, in the meantime, while this is drying, we're going to start our land across here, but we're just going to do it on this side for right now until this is all dry, so that way we can get our tree started. Okay, so go ahead and get some black on your brush and just go across here. And I mean, you can make it as thick as you would like. I'm gonna make mine just like a brush and a half. Like, see, that was like a brush stroke across. I'm gonna go ahead and like go up another half of brush and do that, at least for the tree, where the tree is gonna be. And you can, like, you know, you can make it uneven, but don't make it too uneven, otherwise you won't be able to your swing and everything won't work out quite right. So I'm just gonna do that part there. Since the white is still wet, I don't want to go across that just yet, but that gives you an idea of, okay, this is how far over I'm gonna have to go. So I'm gonna get that there, and then we're gonna start our tree. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go across and get a general shape up here. And just make sure, I usually try to do the main branch that we're gonna use first, because this is gonna be the branch that the swing hangs down from. So I'm kind of making that a thicker main kind of branch, just to so that way it doesn't seem so outrageous that they are hanging from that. And then I'm just gonna give the tree a little bit more of a base, and then I'm gonna do another part that kind of goes up here. And I'm just using the edge of my brush to make the, whoop, sorry, I think I hit the camera there. Just do like that. And again, you can make it go off the canvas, that's totally fine. Okay, so then you want to make some smaller branches. Just kind of, you know, try to use the edge of your brush and just make them, you know, kind of thin. We don't need a whole lot, just enough, because we are going to put you know, flowers, you know, those flower petals on here and everything. So just gonna go ahead and put in a few. And again, this is another thing that if you have like a thinner brush or a toothpick or something, you can use that. You know, to add to that. Add a branch here. And again, some of these are going to get covered up, and that's totally okay. And I'm gonna do a little branch coming out here with some fiddly bits. Coming off there and going off the edge. There we go. Yeah, see, it doesn't need to be a whole lot there, just enough to, you know, give it a little bit of suggestion. Sorry about the glare on the painting there up at the top, but it's just, you know, it's just regular black. So, alrighty. So that is the tree, and so we're going to let that dry completely. When that is dry, then the white should be completely dry as well. So about 10 minutes or so, just to make sure that that's all completely dry before we paint the rest of the bottom here, and then add the string, the swing and the little people on it. So go ahead and give that, actually I'm gonna add one more little swoop. And a little swoop. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Okay, cool. So go ahead and let that sit and dry, and we'll see you back in about 10-15 minutes. Okay, so now that that is dry, we're gonna go ahead, get some more black paint and finish off the bottom here. So go ahead and just go right across. Right across. There we go. Make sure to get the edges. There we go. Okay. Okay, got the first layer, and then and again, it doesn't have to be level, but that kind of helps with when we do the swing and everything. So getting the corners there. Okay, and then for the final touch for the ground, to make it look like there's some grass or something, I'm gonna get a little bit of black on the paintbrush and then just tap along the edge like that. And you can do it at different, you can just use the edge, you can do little swoops. Okay, and then it looks like I'll have to paint over that bottom bit again because I pulled up some of the paint. So here we go. So just make sure that that is there. There we go. So that way And that way it looks like there's actually, you know, some vegetation there. So there we go. Okay, cool. So go ahead and clean off my brush just to make sure that we got all the extra weirdness off. And now we are going to do the swing. So some of you, if you have real problems doing straight lines, you could use a ruler to do 2 straight lines, you know, right on down and then across. I'm going to freehand it just because I don't feel like grabbing a ruler. So I'm going to freehand it and hopefully get it more or less straight. But I mean, hey, they could be swinging, you know, you could do that. So, so go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and just do the first one, going down here. Or if you want to do the seat first, so that way you know where it is, you can do that first and have that all taken care of. If you do that, just make sure it's kind of like in the middle here, which actually I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Decide where I want that to go, and I'm gonna go right across there. And it's okay if the swing is a little bit longer than if the seat is a little bit longer than the strings. Because a lot of times the wood, the swings will stick out a little bit further. So that's totally okay if your swing sticks out a little bit more than the others. Just kind of try to get it straight. It could be a warped board. Who knows? It's one of those old-timey wooden swings. So, okay. Oh, this is a little awkward. Okay. Actually, move my paint before I put my elbow in it, because that would be my luck. Okay, so now we're just gonna go right. There we go. Okay. And I know it's a little bit wiggly, but that's actually okay because it's going to be like a rope. So it's actually okay. We're going to take little dabs and kind of go down to thicken it up a little. So that's totally okay. I'm just going to do some totally okay if your rope looks a little odd. Like, that's totally okay. Okay, so that's one. Yay! And now I'm gonna do the other. I'm actually gonna go up from the bottom because that seemed to work a little bit better for me. And then come, yep, down. And feel free if you need to go back to your paint a couple times. That's totally okay. And if you have a smaller paintbrush, that would probably be a little bit easier. But again, we're living life on the wild side here. No ruler, no small paintbruch. We're just freehanding this, and ain't that looking so pretty? Okay, I'm gonna make the seat a little bit. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, so yay, we have our swing, and now we just need our little people on it. Now, since this is so small, like, you don't need to worry about a ton of detail. You just need two, rough little figures. And, you can have it be, a boy and a girl. You could have 2 girls, 2 boys. Heck, you could have, one person and their cat. if you wanted to. I'm going to do it with a little boy, with a boy and a girl. Or a man and a woman, whatever. I'm gonna do it that way, but you could do whichever. Usually it's easier to indicate the female if they have long hair and a dress. I know that's stereotypical, but it's an easy identifier when you're working with silhouettes. So, but again, feel free if you want to have two boys, if you want to have two girls, if you want a boy and a girl, or someone with their cat, or even heck, just a cat. You can totally do that. That is up to you. You can do whatever you want. As far as that goes. So I'm going to make a bit of a circle, or at least I'll try, kind of a circle for a head. I don't know if my proportions are going to be able to right, but you know what, it's okay. Just kind of the body. Holding on to the swing. And it's okay if down here, if the body's kind of meld into the swing string, you've already established that that's what it is, so you don't need to worry about it. So there's a little person there, give him some legs. Again, don't need to be super detailed or anything, just as long as they, you know, are sticking up there. Okay. He's got some baggy pants on or something. Okay, so that's one, and I might touch that up a little bit. Now we're gonna get little person number 2. It's an easy signifier. She's hanging on to the queen, and I'm going to give her hair kind of blowing in the breeze there, and then we've got them trying to suggest that they're like holding hands or got their arms around each other or something like that. Her legs crossed a little bit. his legs look a little less frayed. Okay, and I'll probably add a few, once this is dry, I'll probably add a few dabs of white in a few places just to differentiate a little bit better. So I feel like there's a couple spots where they could use a little bit more. I'm scraping paint off now. Okay, come on, dab, 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 dab. Okay. Yeah. It's a problem when you're working this tiny. Sometimes you end up taking up the paint that you just put down, and that's fun. Okay, yeah, so I'll probably put a little bit of white in there somewhere just to try to better indicate that there's some separation there. So, but otherwise, I think that actually looks pretty good. So, we're gonna let them dry, but and then we'll probably touch them up a bit because as you can probably see, it's kind of patchy. It almost looks like they're covered in tar because you can see patches of white showing through, and plus the glare doesn't help. So we're going to let them dry, and then we'll touch them up. But in the meantime, we are going to get our white paint, and we're going to use the end of our brush, the side that doesn't have the bristles on it, and we're going to use that to make some dots. We'll use the other end for some other bits, but we want to get some nice little round circles in there first. So we're going to go ahead and put, and you'll probably have to re-dip multiple times, but just to get some more like buds almost around on the tree. And you don't have to put them at the end of every stem. You can just put them wherever works for you. They don't even have to necessarily be attached to the tree, because we are going to we're going to be doing some more with that in just a bit. We want to kind of get some buds, get some actual flowers in there. We'll do a couple different things, but just to show you that you can use, more than just the bristle end of the brush. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. And if you have any on the sides, make sure you get them. I've got a couple on the sides. Okay, so now go ahead and clean off the back end of your brush so that way you don't poke yourself with some paint. And then we're going to get the white, just put some on the edge of your brush, and we're just going to do a couple little, trying to make them a little more swoopy. Just to kind of contrast with the circular ones, just a little extra dab. Or if you just like having the little buds, you can just do that too. You don't have to do this part. If you just want to add more buds, you can totally do that. No harm, no foul. Whatever you think makes your tree look good. And again, have some, so the petals, since the petals are going to be falling, it's totally cool to have, or petals have fallen, so it's totally cool if you want to, have them just kind of floating. They don't have to be on, you know, attached to the tree. They can just be kind of, you know, floating around, and they haven't fallen quite yet. You know, it's totally fine. You can do whatever works for you in that. So just trying to get a little bit of variety here. So when you feel like you have enough petals up there, then what you can do is you can put some petals down here, and that is basically just going to be little swoops with just the edge of your brush, just little to indicate that there are a bunch of petals that have fallen. And if those are too big, then you can always just use, you know, the end of your brush again. Or again, if you see some that are too big, we can take some black paint and go back over it and fix that. So that is not a problem. Either way works for me. Let me see. My little people are still wet. So we're going to let everything dry one more time. A little bit more to her foot there. There we go. And then we will do a final touch up on the little people, and then we will be done. So go ahead and let that dry. If you're happy at this stage, then you're welcome to stop. If you want to continue, you certainly can. So for those of you who do want to do a little bit more touch up or see a little more touch up done, then give this a chance to dry. The little people will probably take about, the figures will probably take about probably 5 to 10 minutes to dry, again depending on how much you've layered on the paint. Same with the flowers and everything. So we'll go ahead and let those dry, and then we will be back for the final details. Okay, so my little people are basically dry. I've got a little bit, but I'm going to add a little bit of white. There we go. All right, so I've got just to, okay, so that one's all right. That might not. Yeah, that one might be a little bit of a pain. That one I might need to use a little bit of black to fix. So let me just go top there. There we go. Okay, cool. Sometimes you just got to use the end of your paintbrush to fix some things. Go ahead and that might have been a little bit much. I might need to update. I might need to fix that a little bit, because otherwise it kind of looks a little bit weird. So, or maybe not. Maybe I just need to do a little bit around here or something. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to take a little bit of black on the brush. touch up some of these spots here. Because that's the problem sometimes with the brush, is that it gets a little bit, it can, sometimes it pulls up the paint that you've already laid down if it's not quite finished drying and whatnot. So, I'm just gonna touch them up a little bit. Okay. And there we go, that's better. Okay, I'm gonna get some white and I'm gonna touch up this side over here. There we go, okay. That's good there. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Yeah, this is just some little detail work, and again, this might not be something that you folks feel like doing. I'm just trying to, I just want to try to get it as nice as I possibly can. There we go. That is much better. Sometimes just adjusting a little tiny bit can make all the difference in the world. So, and I think there's one more spot I want to put some black over. I know it's not quite dry yet. Just right there. Okay, and tiny bit. There we go. Okay, wonderful. Again, it's just a couple subtle differences. It's not gonna, again, not gonna break the bank. Because they're so tiny, I'm just trying to get them to look as nice as I possibly can, even though it is a little bit difficult. And I'm going to touch up a few of these to make them a little bit smaller. Not a whole lot, just one or two that are a little bit too big, I think, for the flower petals. So yeah, just a couple. There were just a couple over there that I'm like, that seems a little bit big. Let's just tone that down just a bit. Okay, so there we go. We have our little, we're gonna just knit it in. This is where I'll screw up, but yeah, you know what. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. So we have our two little people sitting on the swing, either watching the sun go down or the moon come up, something along those lines. So hopefully that turned out well for you, and hope that you folks enjoyed this tiny art for adults and teens.